Hello and welcome to this Studio Brootle video. Here I'm going to show you how to use this Reese rack that I've made. If you haven't got it yet, there'll be a link below. It's one preset rack, so it'll be quite cheap. It'll be like €3, $4 and there'll be even more off if you use the link below. There'll be a discount code, so if you are going to get it, use that. And yeah, let's get into it. So basically, it makes a drum and bass Reese sound, as you can hear. All the macros are up front here. It uses Wavetable as primary synth, but also it has a sub bass oscillator under it, so it's got two synths. So whatever note you play, it will play the Reese on Wavetable, but it plays a sub bass under it. If you can, that's the sub bass. There is the first volume as well. You will need good headphones for that. It is low sub bass that goes under the Reese. So you've got like a clean sub, fairly clean. It's distorted a bit, but then over the top of it, you've got this sound. And if I add in both, you've got like a lot of sub bass underneath your Reese. This is the sub bass. I'll just show you its operator there. It's really simple. It's a low filtered couple of sine waves, basically, a couple of octaves apart. Some of them are detuned as well. So yeah, that's the sub which goes under it, and it's the first volume. It's the first macro control. So then basically above that we've got this Reese, which is quite distorted. You can turn the drives down, obviously, if you want. There's loads of distortion throughout. I'll go through them all, so you can tune it to taste. You can have it really nasty or just a little bit. I personally like to have it a little bit distorted on lots of different distortions. So you've got like 4 or 5 doing a little bit of distortion, adding a bit of flavour. But yeah, we'll go into it. So yeah, what you've got here is we've got Wavetable. It's got 3 oscillators on. It's got the sub on, which is playing high because it doesn't need to be a sub because we've got that other sub operate under it. And then 2 wavetables detuned here, and some wavetable distortion effects here like warp and bold. And then it's got some crazy looking envelopes because this one is flat, but I'll go into why that is later. I'll do it now. It's basically so you can do this and add a pitch envelope to it on the macros, but by default that's down. And it's got a slow attack envelope, it's got a slow attack LFO to keep everything moving. And yeah, it's got unison. I'll go into the macros in a minute, but just the processing, you've got this band pass which is wide. It's got stereo width to it. It basically means instead of like just moving with a sine wave, the sine wave is split left and right, so you get a different movement in your headphones. It's just a bit off the modulation. Then after that, as every good Reese should have, it's distorted again after the filter. There is actually some filtering, by the way, you can see a Wavetable as well, obviously. But then it's got lots of movement, lots of distortion after the filtering, so you get that movement. And what I've got here is raw, which if I pop that up, you can see it's split, so it's doing multi-band. So you've got this distortion unit inside raw just doing the low end, this doing the mid, this doing the high. You don't even need to look at it if you don't want. You can use it on the macros. The most important things are set to the macros. I'll show you that in a minute. But that's what it's doing. So you've got the bass, the mid, and the treble distorted separately, and a bit of stereo mix width on the filter. Then you've got a bit of reverb, which is only really going on the top end. There's some filtering out of the bass here. Then you've got a filter which isn't which is just basically doing kind of tiny bit of the low end out, and that's about it really. Because if I take that off, there's far too much low end, and I want the separate sub to be doing the low end. Then it's saturated. Ableton saturate, fairly standard. You can see what it's doing. Bit of drive, not fully wet. It's a really nice distortion that for Reese's when it's on analog clip. Bit of EQ, and then after that, this filter is doing both synths. You can see the group ends there. So this is doing both synths, both the bass and the high end, the Wavetable. And yeah, it's basically cutting the top end off. If I switch it off, you get a lot more high end. You can, but then it's wobbling a bit. It's got a bit of LFO action. You can see it's wobbling just to make it give it a wobble. Then you've got this, which is a high pass, which will cut out all the bass of everything. But it's not on. It's set to the macros, so you can basically just cut all the bass out when you want. I'll show you that in a minute on the macros. So yeah, so it's at 0. You can't hear it at the moment. It's not in. And then at the end, we've got a little bit of drive and crunch to distort everything again and bring like the sub and everything together with the Reese. So yeah, that's it. I'll run through the macros real quick. I have a tweak of them. Sub bass volume. If you can hear that cutting out. If you've got good headphones. Time. That is all the wavetables envelopes. You can make them shorter or longer, which affects those LFOs. It makes the wobble basically a bit longer or shorter. Global mod is how much modulation of all the modulation happens. So you can cut all the modulation down. It's a good one. And oscillator detune is pretty good. I've set both these controls to it, the little fine tuning, but I set them at opposite. So when you turn this up, if you turn it to 0, it's basically not detuned. This is 0 and this is 0. As you turn it up, they go the other way. So this will go up and this will go down as you turn it up. So if you whack it up, basically you're getting a nastier sound you can get. It's fully detuned. They're going the opposite way, which is quite good. And you want to tweak this in line with the distortions and stuff. Then you've got pitch envelope, which I mentioned before. It doesn't have an amount on it, so I've mapped this to the peak. You can't map amount on the wavetable, so you can do that. That's too much, but you can sort of add a tiny little bit of pitch envelope is to taste, which is quite good. Do what you will with it. Filter 1 frequency, that's the frequency here. And it's modulated, so if you pull this down, it will hide the sound, but it will wobble as well. And you can play with time as well to make that more. Bandpass filter mix, that's that one that's after it, and split, this one. That's the mix of that and how much that is driven. That's a nice filter drive if you turn that up. And then raw, that multi-band raw, this is the overall mix of it. It's quite tame without it, it's still quite nice. If you turn it up, it makes all those 3 raw units work. And this is the saturation amounts on the bass, the mids and the lows. So that is just doing the bass, obviously. Then if you add that, you can hear it, it's just crunching in the mid-range. And if you do that, it's just crunching in the high ends. Just add in, I think it's tube saturation. So yeah, you want to mix these to taste. And then that's the mix of the whole unit. There's more things as well on raw you can tweak, but I just put those 4 here because they're the most important. Saturated drive, that's quite nice. You can go really harsh. That's that saturated unit that's afterwards. And this is the high pass I was talking about. If I turn it up, it's just going to cut the bass out of everything. So it's quite good for breakdowns, whatever. So yeah, that's that. And then the 2 final distortions, which can go too hard with, but a little bit. It's quite nice. So yeah, you just want to go through and tweak all these, especially detune, to get the sound you want. And yeah, obviously you can come in and change stuff like the wavetables, and you can get more into raw. There's so much to change here, especially this drive here, which is a map to a macro. It's quite nice. So yeah, yeah, and obviously you can get into here and change all the shaper types, and yeah, there's a lot to get into, but the most important ones are mapped up there to the macros. So yeah, that's it. Hope you find it useful. Hope you can find use for it in your music. So yeah, there'll be a link below with the discount code, and yeah, hope you can use it in your music. That's it from me. Have a good day. Take care. Goodbye.